Looks like business is about to pick up with Dragon Ball Super Episode 6, Hakaishi no Okoraseru na Doki Doki Tanjo Party, which translates to Don't Anger the God of Destruction, the heart-pounding birthday party. And boy, after a ridiculously crazy last week with Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 kind of going semi-viral with the whole animation scandal, if you want to even call it that, Episode 6 more than made up for it, with the exception of 1 or 2 frames. And I've seen the episode twice as of this recording. One time I watched it all the way through, the second time I kind of skimmed through it. I only noticed 1 or 2, maybe 3 kind of weird animation moments. The show was very solidly animated. That error that a lot of us saw last week with Vegeta having 2 left hands, that has been fixed. Now, this episode, of course, covered the story of Beerus coming to Earth looking for Super Saiyajin Godo, running into Vegeta, who was, of course, the son of King Vegeta, rightful heir to the throne of planet Vegeta, right? If it still existed, you know, Prince of No One, as Frieza said, and the whole thing was, of course, everybody kind of kissing up to Beerus and welcoming him. Bulma, Krillin, everybody kind of was there being very friendly to Beerus, just like in the movie. There were several changes between the events in the series and the events in the movies. First of all, of course, it took place on Bulma's ship and not at Capsule Corp. There was no bingo game. There was no rock, paper, scissors from the extended cut of Battle of Gods. I know a lot of people are happy about the bingo game being gone. Others are not happy. But you've still got Battle of Gods there if you want to watch it. But the Super version does not have the bingo game. Also, I feel like with this episode, they kind of de-emphasized really putting the fear in everybody of how strong Beerus is. I felt they kind of did it better in the movie than in the episode. But remember, with Super, we've got 4 other episodes or 5 other episodes that talk about and show us how strong Beerus is. We saw a little bit more of the history between Vegeta and Beerus. We got to see Kid Vegeta once again, an extended version of that small flashback that we got in Battle of Gods, where Vegeta is thinking about Beerus kind of abusing King Vegeta, for lack of a better term, and watching it. In this version, he was watching it from behind like a rock or something, or he was just hiding, watching it going on. So, of course, the whole episode was Vegeta trying to appease Beerus, and, of course, just like in the film, Majin Buu did not want to share his pudding, which angered Beerus, and Beerus kind of got pissed. There was a scene where, you know, Beerus and Buu fought, and it was different here because Gohan, it wasn't like Gohan and Buu kind of teamed up on him like it was in Battle of Gods. That's being saved for the next episode, actually. It was just Beerus just attacked Buu, and there was a scene where Beerus blasted Buu with a very impressive, very scary looking ki blast where it looked like he killed Buu. I remember tweeting out, holy shit, did he just kill Majin Buu? Like, I'm thinking like, wow, like, they really are changing it now. Like, Boo's gonna die here. Not saying he wouldn't be brought back, but he didn't die in the movie. Obviously, Boo's not dead because in the next episode preview for episode 7, he's back. But it sure as hell looked like that, which I thought was a great moment for people watching it live. If you don't know what's going to happen, you're like, whoa, like that was very, very well done. The best moment of this show, in fact, what I consider that might be the best moment of the entire series, was from Vegeta. I had previously said that the scene with Vegeta where he got covered in that black ink from the squid in episode 2 was my favorite Vegeta moment possibly ever. This episode, I'm smiling right now. I don't know if you can tell, but I got a huge smile on my face after watching this. This guy Vegeta was so like worried about pleasing Beerus and giving him good food that he did this crazy freak out where he jumps in the water and grabs this squid, or octopus, throws it up in the air, shoots a final flash. We saw the final flash, guys, for the first time in I don't know how many years, since, years and years and years ago, episodes and episodes and episodes ago, we saw Vegeta do the final flash. And then he cooks the octopus in one big motion and gives it to Beerus. This was comedic gold. I've said it before. Dragon Ball comedy is some of my favorite comedy, and when done right, it can be the best stuff ever. And this episode was a really good mix of like the first half being very slice of life, which I actually think that it's funny that Dragon Ball Super's slice of life episodes are better than the freaking battle. But of course, it's 5-1 or 4-1 because We've only seen one episode that's really a battle, and that was last week's, debacle, episode 5. Here, it kind of started off as being very lighthearted, very fun to watch. The character interactions were fantastic. It was total just loving Dragon Ball Super. Everything I was hoping to get, I got here. And then it ended with the scary-ass Beerus being pissed off and pretty much, running through Boo. There was another funny moment I remember too where Krillin eats these spicy meatball looking things and he fucking falls over all toasted up, and then he's like, why is it always me? Which is the same line that he uses in the movies whenever he gets beat up by, the villain of the movie or whatever. So there were just so many great moments in this episode. Just so much fun to watch. And I'm very, very excited for things to come. I really am. It looks like the Good Animation team is back. It looks like next episode is going to be a big one. And that's kind of what I want to talk about real quick to close the episode out for next week. There's going to be a huge fight. In the next episode preview, we saw that Mystic / Ultimate Gohan, Gotenks, Piccolo 18, and Tien Shinhan are all going to engage Beerus. And Boo's back, of course. They're all going to get their asses kicked. It looks like we're not going to see the chopsticks. So I'm sure QAAMAN's very happy about that. Dragon Ball Nation probably not so much. But no, it was pretty cool seeing the preview. But the big thing about the preview, at the end of the preview, now I'm not saying this is confirmed, but we see a glimpse of Vegeta, going through his power up. Now I made a video about this a few days ago about, actually it was last week I think, about the episode titles for Dragon Ball Super 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this next episode is called How Dare You Hit My Bulma, Vegeta's Furious Mutation. That word mutation always kind of made my eyebrows go up, and I know a lot of people thought this means that Vegeta will be unlocking SSJ3. I don't know if that is the case, but watch that next episode preview for episode 7. I want to hear your thoughts below in the comment section. Do you think that he is actually going SSJ3? It could just be a really powerful, full power SSJ2 rage boost, because Bulma gets slapped, of course, as we know, it happens in the movie, and he explodes, of course, but the way his hair was moving and the overabundance of lightning really made it seem like he may actually power himself up into doing SSJ3. That's what it looked like. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. I know we'll find out next week. I'm leaning towards it probably not being the case, but I can assure you that if it does happen, it's going to be very polarizing, because the Vegeta fans are going to be happy about it, but some other fans are going to be like, well, it's just fan service. And it is fan service. They'll be able to sell more SSJ Vegeta 3 toys. But remember, guys, these forms aren't even going to last much longer, because we're about to get red-haired God and later blue-haired God. So, it would just be fan service. But overall, my thoughts: fun episode, great character interactions, very, very, very little Goku. And I know a lot of people are going to be happy about that. I don't hate Goku, but a lot of fans do. Very, very little Goku. So it was a very, very good episode. Probably my second favorite episode other than episode 2. I want to know what you think about Dragon Ball Super episode 6 below. And I want to know if you think, judging by those 2 or 3 little frames that we got, if we're going to see SSJ3 Vegeta next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch your asses down the road.